Nemo, and welcome to Scary Town, the Goosebumps and Fear Street review show. Halloween is around the corner, and I would be remiss if I didn't review a Goosebumps book that is centered on Halloween. And what better book than Goosebumps Horrorland, Weirdo Halloween. And there's the back there. It says, it's the only one I've ever seen, maybe the only one on Earth. So, coincidentally, this is the next Horrorland book in the second arc of Horrorland that I needed to review, and it was like, this fit perfectly for around Halloween, so it's just the stars are aligned and this was perfect. Do note that is one of the special editions. So this book, I don't know how well you can see that in the camera, is very long, and I actually consider this to be almost two Goosebumps stories in one. The second story being a bit shorter than the usual Goosebumps book, but it's basically like you're getting two for the price of one, and it's awesome. And this book kind of revitalized my passion, my love for reading Goosebumps books and covering them and reviewing them for you guys. And I was kind of in a slump. There's a couple of Goosebumps books that I had to read and review, and they were kind of mediocre or they're not very good, and it was just kind of losing my passion for Goosebumps. And reading this, like this, it's amazing. And spoilers, this book is awesome, and it just takes everything that I love about Goosebumps and Halloween and just mashes them together. And it's probably like the best Goosebumps story that's centered around Halloween since the Haunted Mask. And Matt even edged it out a little bit. That's my own personal opinion. So the story is basically like a weird version of E.T., E.T. the Terrestrial. Two kids find this weird alien called Bim, and he's stuck in a bush, and they help him out of the bush, and so he ends up tagging along with them. Like he shows up in the girl's house, and it's really weird. And he's like the most annoying alien you've probably ever seen, and he does a lot of really gross stuff in this book. Some of it pretty grotesque and explicit, because this book, unlike a lot of other Goosebumps books, kind of like they ride that line of just, like creepy and spooky, but not like nothing really terrible happens. And this book, there's some really like freaky stuff happens. Like, so Bim is he needs to eat like food, like meat, and by that meaning he needs to eat live meat. And so he eats like birds and squirrels, and the way his digestive system works is he has to regurgitate it, like vomit up the food and then eat it up again. And there's several times where he thinks that this is like a good thing, like a show of appreciation for somebody, by vomiting up this dead animal that he's already like been chewing on, and is really messed up. So they go into one of their friends' Halloween parties, and they meet Bim, and then Bim's like so happy that they saved his life. He wanted to show his appreciation, and so they go to the party, and then all of a sudden somebody throws like this like a brick through the window or whatever, and it's actually this stink bomb, and it's just like it just ruins the whole entire party, and just and ends up being Bim is responsible. And he thought it was like a good thing, just a show of his appreciation. They don't like it, and they quickly find that they need to please Bim, otherwise he will like if you anger him, he like his eyes turn blood red, and he grows like into this large like scary monster, and he just gets really angry like the Incredible Hulk, but just more gross and like terrifying. And so they're forced to like give him like back massages, but like it's really icky because like his skin is real like soft and mushy and just wet and this it's gross. Yeah, it's pretty gross. And so basically they're tasked with how do we deal with this alien that's really messing with us, and it really culminates into like this great action scene at the very end of the story. And it's just basically they're running away from Bim, who's like turned out to like that big hulking scary monster, and he's coming after them, and it's just they're desperately trying to run away from him, and then like kind of thinking on the fly like how do we deal with this guy. And it's just a great story because it's set on Halloween, and this, like I said, like there's like the dead animals and stuff, and it's really disgusting. That it's Arlstein goes out of his way to describe all this gross stuff that's happening with Bim, like Bim's bodies and stuff, and the dead animals and whatnot. It's just a great story. It's something you, I guess maybe you ever wanted to have like this twisted, deranged story of E.T. and it's set on Halloween, and this is it pretty much. And so that's the first story, the epilogue in Horrorland, because the girl gets transported into Horrorland, where it's still Halloween. And if you ever wondered what Halloween would be like in Horrorland, this is the book you've been waiting for, because it shows that there's like everything's pumpkin thing. Like there's this big giant like pumpkin that kids get into, but then like there's these flames in the pumpkin, and like it's getting like really hot, and people think that they're gonna be like set on fire and stuff, and it's actually a big trick. But there's a lot of attractions, like new attractions, they're all centered on pumpkins and Halloween. It's just awesome to see that. So Jonathan Chiller is the main antagonist of this whole second arc of Horrorland, and he's behind all the bringing the kids that took something from his gift shop for free. And he always says, don't worry about paying for it because you're going to pay later, and that means that he's going to bring them in, and then for some grand game or whatever. So he brings the girl in for like this game basically, where she has to prove that she is herself, and it's this really trippy kind of story where her brother's there, and then there's a doppelganger of her that looks exactly like her, and makes her brother believe that the real her real sister is not who she says she is, and she's a fake. And so there's this kind of this back and forth in this whole journey of her like going through these different obstacles and facing these monsters like zombies and whatnot, in order to prove that she is who she is at the end of the day. And if she wins, she gets to leave with her brother. If she doesn't, then she's like trapped there and whatnot. So it's just this whole thing, and it's really awesome. Like she goes to different attractions. They're all Halloween themed, and it's pretty awesome. It's a great Halloween story, and Weirdo Halloween by itself, the main story is great, but this addition of this adventure in a Halloween themed Horrorland is just like the cherry on top. Is just like, this is already amazing. This book is already amazing, and then you add this other story on top of it, that makes it just perfect, and it's amazing. You just definitely have to check it out. So I mean, as far as negatives, I suppose maybe if this book makes you like kind of squeamish, maybe, or you just don't find the story itself of Ben being, all that interesting, maybe, but definitely worth checking it out. So I recommend to anybody who loves horror, with Horrorland, Goosebumps, Halloween. Definitely, this is a great Halloween story. So definitely check out Weirdo Halloween. It's definitely worth a read, and it's just amazing. It surprised me. I would definitely put it in my top 5 favorite Goosebumps books that I've ever read. Definitely deserves a place up there with The Haunted Mask, another Halloween themed Goosebumps book, and it's just amazing. So definitely check it out. And I hope you enjoyed this review, and let me know if you read this book, and what do you think about it. And if there's any other Goosebumps books that you want me to review, just let me know down in the comments. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye.